Deals, not war. That's the focus of tonight's angle. In Saudi Arabia, we saw 4 different traits of Donald Trump on display today: the deal maker, the peacemaker, the optimist, and the realist. Let's start with the deal maker. The deals announced by the White House totaled around $283 billion for the U.S. The 2 biggest deals included Saudi Arabia's agreement to buy about $142 billion in military goodies from our defense industry, plus $20 billion for AI data centers and energy infrastructure. Good stuff. And the White House officials insist, look, they've only just begun. And organizers of the Saudi Investment Forum held today, attended by some of America's top CEOs, also announced a total of 145 deals totaling more than $300 billion.
With this trip, we're adding over $1 trillion more in terms of investment into our country and buying our products. And, you know, nobody makes military equipment like us. We have the best military equipment, the best missiles, the best rockets, the best everything, best submarines.
The best salesman for America. And isn't that nice? Especially compared to what we had during Biden's 2022 trip to Saudi Arabia.
I know it's late, but thank you for being here. Had a good series of meetings. Just finished more than 2 hours meetings with Saudi leadership here in Jeddah, meeting with the king for about a little over half an hour, working session with the Crown Prince and all the ministers from the energy minister to the sports minister, all the way down the line. This trip is about, once again, positioning America in this region for the future. We are not going to leave a vacuum in the Middle East for Russia or China to fill, and we're getting results.
Oh, really? 2 whole hours he met with people? Well, Biden's results were evident from the minimalist backdrop he had. Remember the greeting he received from the Saudi leadership, the fist bump? Meanwhile, the Saudis treated Trump with the respect he deserved. From the moment he walked down the stairs, I love the purple, from Air Force One, to the moment he departed. Yeah. Look, he didn't come to lecture Saudi Arabia, but to treat them like a real economic power. This is why the Investment Forum was such a masterstroke, because it benefits American workers by pushing more money into the United States. And the gathering included America's biggest corporate titans, from Uber, Google, OpenAI, Palantir, and many others around the world, like Jensen Huang from NVIDIA.
Where is Jensen, by the way? Where is he? He's standing here. Where is he? I just saw that. Thank you very much, Jensen. I mean, Tim Cook isn't here. But you are. What a job you've done. He said he's got 99% of the chip market. I don't know. That's not easy to beat. But what a job you've done. Thank you. We are proud to have you in our country. You know that. Thank you for the investment.
But it wasn't just Trump the deal maker. It was Trump the peacemaker. Saudi Arabia may not have wanted to hear this, but Trump needed to say it.
It's my fervent hope, wish, and even my dream that Saudi Arabia will soon be joining the Abraham Accords. I think it'll be a tremendous tribute to your country, and it will be something that's really going to be very important for the future of the Middle East. I took a risk in doing them, and they've been an absolute bonanza for the countries that have joined.
And Trump even offered an off-ramp to Iran with a warning.
If I can make a deal with Iran, I'll be very happy if we're going to make your region and the world a safer place. But if Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive, maximum pressure, drive Iranian oil exports to zero. The choice is theirs to make. We really want them to be a successful country. We want them to be a wonderful, safe, great country. But they cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is an offer that will not last forever.
Oh, I love that. It's not going to last. Better act now. So, enraging the forever war crowd, Trump has even said he'll meet with Syria's new leader. Now, mind you, we haven't had normal diplomatic relations with Syria in over a decade. And since 1979, they've designated them a state sponsor of terrorism. But President Trump announced an end to sanctions there in order to give peace a chance. And that starts with a conversation.
I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness. In Syria, which has seen so much misery and death, there is a new government that will hopefully succeed in stabilizing the country and keeping peace. That's what we want to see.
Now, as uncomfortable as this makes official Washington, people who can't think outside their bubbles, I'm going to ask this tonight. What is the alternative for the United States? Because we've had decades of war and interventionism and lectures and military tensions. None of it's worked. If anything, in many cases, we made matters worse, including for ourselves. Trillions of dollars wasted, thousands of lives lost. Never get them back. And that brings us to Trump, the realist. Now, as much as we'd like to think that we have power and authority, enough of it, to order around the rest of the world, it simply doesn't work. We end up offending potential allies that we may need down the road for our own security. And because he's Trump, he couldn't resist reminding everyone of the failed strategies of his predecessors.
In recent years, far too many American presidents have been afflicted with the notion that it's our job to look into the souls of foreign leaders and use U.S. policy to dispense justice for their sins. It is God's job to sit in judgment, my job to defend America and to promote the fundamental interest of stability, prosperity, and peace. That's what I really want to do.
Now, how can liberals be against this? They used to be anti-war and pro-peace. But because Donald Trump is better at peace than they are, they're suddenly for war? What? Again, we don't have to love everyone we work with. We're never going to. But we do need to be realistic about meddling in other countries' affairs.
As I've shown repeatedly, I am willing to end past conflicts and forge new partnerships for a better and more stable world, even if our differences may be very profound, which obviously they are in the case of Iran. I have never believed in having permanent enemies. I am different than a lot of people think.
This is bold and it's refreshing. It's totally something we haven't seen before from an American president. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but not I. Finally, undergirding all of this is Trump, the optimist. Like, why condemn America to the unsuccessful policies and strategies of the past? Why not chart a path that is uniquely focused on making America stronger, more prosperous, and it would be nice, a little happier, get along a little bit better? And that may require new partnerships for a better future.
Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other out of existence. We don't want that.
Now, being an aggressive advocate for peace, it's always going to require optimism. But Trump's isn't blind, because it's never, ever overridden by what's good for America first.
Most importantly for the people in this room, the days of economic misery under the last administration are rapidly giving way to the greatest economy in the history of the world. We are rocking. The United States is the hottest country, with the exception of your country, I have to say, right? I'm not going to take that on. No, Mohammed, I'm not going to take that on.
Yeah, even with no sleep, he doesn't sleep. A 12-hour flight, Trump still flashed his sense of humor. So in the coming months, we're going to be checking to confirm that deals promised are deals done. But for now, you're seeing the deal maker, the peacemaker, the realist, and the optimist at work.